Hello, friends. Today we talk about unique facts of space. 1. Neutron stars can spin at a rate of 600 rotations per second. Neutron stars are one of the possible evolutionary endpoints of high-mass stars. They're born in a core-collapse supernova star explosion and subsequently rotate extremely rapidly as a consequence of their physics. 2. Space is completely silent. Sound waves need a medium to travel through. Since there is no atmosphere in the vacuum of space, the realm between stars will always be eerily silent. 3. The Apollo astronauts' footprints on the moon will probably stay there for at least 100 million years. Since the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, there's no wind or water to erode or wash away the Apollo astronauts' mark on the moon. That means their footprints, rover prints, spaceship prints, and discarded materials will stay preserved on the moon for a very long time. 4. More energy from the sun hits Earth every hour than the planet uses in a year. The use of solar energy has increased at a rate of 20% each year for the past 15 years. According to Yale Environment 360, the world added 30% more solar energy capacity in 2017, meaning that 98.9 gigawatts of solar energy was produced that year. 5. If two pieces of the same type of metal touch in space, they will bond and be permanently stuck together. This amazing effect is called cold welding. It happens because the atoms of the individual pieces of metal have no way of knowing that they are different pieces of metal, so the lumps join together. 6. The largest asteroid in our solar system is a mammoth piece of space rock named Ceres. The asteroid, which is sometimes known as a dwarf planet, is almost 600 miles in diameter. It's by far the largest in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter and accounts for a whole third of the belt's mass. Ceres' surface area is approximately equal to the land area of India or Argentina. 7. One day on Venus is longer than 1 year on Earth. Venus has an extremely slow axis rotation that takes about 243 Earth days to complete one full cycle. Funny enough, it takes Venus even less time in Earth days in order to complete one revolution around the Sun, 226 to be exact. 8. Jupiter's red spot is shrinking. Jupiter's famous red spot has been shrinking over the past few decades. This spot on the planet is a giant spinning storm that used to be able to fit about 3 Earths. Now only 1 Earth can fit inside the spot. 9. One of Saturn's moons has a distinct two-tone coloration. Iapetus, one of Saturn's 62 moons, is actually a pretty unique celestial object. This moon has a very distinct two-tone coloration, with one side be much darker than the other. 10. The position of the North Star will change over time. Navigation will be weird when Polaris stops being the North Star in about 13,000 years. In case you didn't know, Earth's axis goes through a motion called precession, which means that the planet's axis will change and trace out the shape of a cone, even if it's slightly. 11. Your hair collects space dust from comets. Every day, several tons of material falls to Earth from space. Some of it is witnessed on arrival, as a bright meteor may result in a meteorite, a fragment of rock and metal crashing into the ground. But a great deal of this cosmic material doesn't make such a spectacular entrance to our planet. Rather, it falls gently through the atmosphere in the form of space dust that is all but invisible to our eyes. 12. Some stars are so cool, you could touch them without scalding your hand. In understanding that the sun is a star, we've come to think of all stars as blazing hot, fiery balls of plasma that could melt any material or alloy we could create. But this isn't true of all stars, and in fact, there is a category of fascinating, super cool stars lurking within the galaxy. Brown dwarfs are colder than any known star and are classified as substellar objects. They are often referred to as failed stars because they are too small to sustain nuclear fusion in their cores, which is the process that powers the sun. As a result, brown dwarfs emit very little light and heat, making them quite challenging to detect. 13. There could be as many as 10 billion Earth-like planets in the Milky Way. In 2019, astronomers combined data from the Kepler Space Telescope with new results from the European Space Agency's Gaia mission, concluding that, on average, as many as 1 in 6 stars hosts an Earth-sized planet in its habitable zone. Potentially tens of billions of such worlds are strewn across the Milky Way. 14. Saturn's rings are incredibly thin. Saturn, the 6th planet from the Sun, is known for its spectacular rings that encircle the gas giant. While they appear to be solid and continuous from afar, the reality is that they are made up of trillions of individual pieces of ice and small amounts of rock, ranging in size from tiny dust-like particles to giant boulders. One of the most remarkable things about Saturn's rings is their incredible thinness. Despite stretching out to a distance of nearly 140,000 kilometers from Saturn's equator, the rings are only a few hundred meters thick at most. Put another way, the rings are hundreds of thousands of times wider than they are tall. 15. Precious metals like silver and gold are forged when dead stars collide. The remnants of exploding stars, neutron stars, will sometimes collide, producing and releasing vast quantities of precious metals among many other elements. The energy involved in these collisions is far greater than that released by a supernova. As a result, the heaviest naturally occurring elements, including uranium, are produced almost exclusively by these extreme events. 16. The number of stars in the Milky Way is probably higher than the number of humans that have ever been born. Ask an astronomer how many stars there are in the Milky Way, and the answer will range from hundreds of billions to an approximate value. 17. Asteroids can have rings and moons. Chariklo is a small celestial body that orbits the Sun between Saturn and Uranus. Chariklo is now known to be a Centaur asteroid, a class of asteroids that are characterized by their unstable orbits, which cross the orbits of the giant planets. What makes this 250-kilometer-wide asteroid so special is that it has a pair of rings around it, making it the smallest known object in the solar system with a ring system. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video.